This plan to boost your business growth, it's fail-proof, trust me. Let's talk about goal setting, relationships, data, lots of other good stuff that you're gonna find useful. Stick with me. I'm Pallen, a brand strategist. Welcome to my channel where I promise practical advice to build your brand. Today we are creating a fail-proof plan to boost your business growth. Let's start that discussion on talking about business growth with goal setting. And I want you to do this little exercise first. And when we talk about goals, we're going to talk specifically about SMART goals. So this stands for S, which is specific. Goals that should be clear, specific, you know exactly what you're aiming for. M is measurable, should be able to measure progress towards that goal so you can track your progress and stay motivated. A stands for achievable. This goal should be realistic and attainable to be successful. R, the goal should matter to you and it should align with other relevant goals. And finally, T is time bound. The goal should have a deadline to provide a sense of urgency and prompt action. Now, let's talk about specific. So making your goal specific. Let me give an example. A vague goal might be increase sales, but a SMART goal might be something like this: increase monthly online sales of handmade jewelry, specific, by reaching out to 20 new local influencers by the end of next quarter, okay? That kind of specificity is going to make this goal better. Let's keep going. How do you make your goal measurable? So a vague example would be improve customer satisfaction. No idea of how we're actually going to do that, so let's make it a SMART goal. Achieve, for example, achieve a customer satisfaction rating of 90% as measured by online customer surveys at the end of the year, okay? That makes it measurable just by adding that little extra on. Achievable. A vague example might be expand the business. A SMART goal would be open a second store location within the next 18 months after achieving a consistent 15% increase in quarterly profits. Ooh, that's good, and it's achievable. Realistic. Let's talk about relevant. Vague might be launch a new podcast line. Vague might be launch a new product line. A SMART goal would be develop and launch a new product of eco-friendly cleaning products that align with our brand's sustainability values by Q2. Do you see where we're going with this? We have one more time bound. A vague goal might be improve social media presence. Okay. SMART goal would be increase our Instagram followers by 25% and post daily. We need a way to do this. Engaging content over the next 6 months. So each of these examples, I think, provide clear, specific paths for a business owner to make it clear, to focus efforts and resources on achievable and relevant outcomes within a set time frame. That's how you set goals. So that's a little on goal setting. Let's talk next about customer relationships. There are a lot of things that could be said on this topic. Obviously, your customers are hugely important because this is what drives your business, but I'm going to extract just a few things here in this article I'm showing on screen. I'm going to show a few. This first point that they make that I think is probably the most important, that is understanding your customers' value. What does that mean? What is important to them? Is it the ability to stay in close contact with you, to solve problems? Or maybe it's for you to do the work and for them to not have as much attention. They're delegating it to you to just handle. Maybe they care a lot about price, so that's a value. Or maybe you offer more of a luxury service and getting that extra little touch is something that means a lot to them. The only way to know the value is by listening to your customer. So that's the first thing to think about with your customer relationships. Next, and I love this one, show that you genuinely care. Generally, people want to connect beyond a professional level, and that's why usually the first few minutes of a client call, you're not talking about work yet. Or on social media, you may find that the stories on Instagram that perform the best are ones that are not about work, but about life, about being human. The smallest of touches can make a huge, huge difference. For me, after I do a paid brand audit consultation, I write a handwritten postcard that I mail my clients, which they always comment on that they appreciate. Final point on this page, adapt to your customer's pace. I always try to follow suit depending on where they're at. If it's really urgent, then I try to make time for them, even if it goes against the structure that I've set and the boundaries that I've set for myself day to day. I know that clients, especially as a business owner, I know that clients really appreciate this idea of adapting to their pace. So something to think about. Next article that I like is from Indeed. I'm going to scroll down here and find this idea of customizing your relationships. I love this perspective. What can you do to make each client relationship special? The smallest of details make a difference, like remembering their birthday, recording that on your customer intake form. Even adjusting the ways in which clients can communicate with you. For example, we prefer not to communicate by email, but we use Slack instead. Just a few examples of how you can customize each relationship without it creating problems or extra work and creating those workflows and structures. Final mention is over here on Constant Contact. They have a great article called Best Ways to Build Customer Relationships. When I scroll down here, right here, improving brand loyalty. This is something that happens when you really put some effort into maintaining your client relationships. What is better and easier than acquiring a new customer? It's retaining and upselling to an existing customer, someone who already knows, likes, and trusts you. And it's also not just buying from you, but also being loyal to your brand. So it's not necessarily a financial transaction, but someone who shows up on your social media posts and engages with you. Someone who actually refers business to you because they believe in you as a service provider or in your product. Brand loyalty is hugely important, so think right now about what you could be doing better in your business to foster that with your customer relationships. So a natural progression now feels like having this discussion paired with data. You know what they say, without data, you're just another person with an opinion. I love that quote. This article from Podium is really comprehensive. It's like a little handbook for your small business, and it really outlines lots of different perspectives on this, the benefits of big data for small businesses. Sometimes we think big data is only for big businesses, but even if you're a small business, there's still ways of using analytics and data crunching to support your business operations. Different types of data analysis, but I want to focus in right here on this, customer analytics. Even as a small business, this is something you need to be collecting and analyzing. Certainly there are other things like marketing optimization, supply chain optimization, if relevant for your business, customer service, but this right here is relevant to every single person that's watching this video. So let's talk about not only some paid tools that you can use, so let's talk about tools to implement it. The most common one of all would have to be Google Analytics. If you have a website, you should definitely have Google Analytics. It's been a quiet week for my website at the time of recording this video, which is right around the holiday, but this gives me so many juicy analytics that are so useful for me as I navigate my business, where people are finding me from, where they are in the world, as well as page titles of my most popular content. Best of all, this tool is free, as I mentioned, so all of you should be using it. Next, I'm sharing my planning spreadsheet at the top of the new year, so there's a lot of red in this right now, but as I populate this with sales and customer data of my clients, those numbers will start to reflect in real time here. Just a simple spreadsheet using Excel. Maybe it doesn't look simple, but it started simple. Here I've got my monthly goal. I've got my actual, which will tabulate automatically based on my sales breakdown down here. Client sales, brand audit sales, course sales, as well as speaking, sponsorships, and affiliates. Those are my business verticals. I also like to keep track of quantity, so total number of intro calls, as well as clients for each vertical. Finally, I like to calculate the average client size for me right now. That is right around the $3,000 mark. So let this inspire a simple spreadsheet that you can use for your own business to be tracking numbers. Finally, and by no means am I a financial expert, not even close, but it is something that we have to acknowledge as a small business owner, particularly if we want growth. And for the final part of this video, I'm a big believer in using AI to make your workflow and your research efficient, and so I think ChatGPT is the perfect place to go to get some answers on what we need to care about when it comes to finances as a small business owner. Obviously, budgeting cash flow is no surprise to anyone. I also think understanding financial statements, this is hugely important. If you're not sure about balance sheets, income statements, and cash flow statements, that's something you can learn very quickly on YouTube. Understanding all three is crucial for making informed business decisions instead of just decisions based on a whim. Cost control, reduction, investing in growth, we've talked about that. Managing your debt, tax planning, as well as compliance. By the way, this is something I lean on my accountant and my bookkeeper for. My accountant offers a bookkeeping service, so for me, I keep everything in one place, and I'm happy with that. They certainly know more about it than I do. I should also mention they offer a regular financial review and planning session, so that leverages their expertise as well. Finally, as ChatGPT indicates, it's very important to build an emergency fund. That's if things go wrong, and I've got one of those. Stashing a little bit away as you can really has a compounding effect on the stress that you will feel. Hopefully you don't have to use it, but if you do, it's there for you, and you don't have to go more into debt. Thank you, ChatGPT, for giving us some good advice here. There you go. My thoughts on boosting business growth from the perspective of a small business owner with some examples from over the years, 12 years and counting. I've done all the talking now. I want to hear from you. What resonated the most? What are you going to try first? Let me know in the comments below. Let's keep the conversation going on down there. Respond to those personally. And I've linked to some useful stuff related to what we covered today. Go ahead and check that out in the description. I've linked to some useful stuff related to what we covered today, including our sponsor. Go ahead and check that out below. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a like. That helps other people discover these videos, which we work hard to create for you. Subscribe for more of my videos on branding, positioning, building, and promoting your brand. Next, I want to share a few videos I think you'll be interested in. I'm Pallen. Thanks for watching. Those coming up next.